Welcome to our broadcast, Simplified Virtual Application and Desktop Services Built for MSPs, sponsored by Alludo. I'm your host, Kenna Johnson from the Channel Company. Today, we're going to learn how Parallels provides simple solutions that helps MSPs enable their customers to work from anywhere, on any device, in any environment. Today, we have Dennis Kohler, Manager of Channel Partner and Alliance Development at Parallels. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here. Let's get started. Segment 1, the evolution of hybrid and remote work. What are some of the top challenges your customers are facing?
With regards to virtualization or deploying virtual apps and desktops, the biggest challenge the customers are facing today is how to deploy at scale in a different remote working world. Now, certainly the pandemic helped us tremendously in terms of how to scale these types of solutions very quickly and rapidly. But as we're now beginning to see a shift more towards a hybrid work environment, the challenges are a little bit more daunting is what we're finding. We're finding that the ability to not only deploy at scale, but with the simplicity for customers to learn how to use the solution sets and for the service providers to actually manage, deploy, design, and support the solutions are the biggest challenges that they face.
How are MSPs addressing those challenges with Parallels Remote Application Server and Awingu?
With RAS and Awingu workspaces, the virtual solutions that we provide enable MSPs to quickly deploy, support, train their customers on published apps and desktops through a myriad of different environments or infrastructure deployments, meaning that it's very simple to deploy whether you're sitting on premises, you're supporting, so if an MSP is supporting a customer with premise-based equipment or a private data center, or even in a public cloud like Azure or AWS, you can deploy a single license of RAS across one or all of those environments and have them cohesively interconnected and look as if it's a single environment on a multitude of different platforms.
What are the main differences between Parallels Desktop versus Parallels RAS and Awingu messaging?
Parallels as a brand, as a company, we've been in the virtualization space for going on 30 years now. We started with the desktop product. That was our first foray into virtualization with a tier one, what's called a tier one hypervisor. And what that meant was we're able to virtualize an instance of Windows running on the Mac OS environment. That was our first step into virtualization. Subsequently, we, through acquisition and our focus on just virtualization, we acquired a product called 2X. And 2X might be known to many of your service providers today as a very simple virtual solution, which then became Remote Application Server or Parallels RAS. Subsequent to that, we've made a lot of investments into RAS in terms of its features and its functionalities, most of which have been driven through our service provider channel partners. And that has evolved into a full complement of remote applications and desktop services. With Awingu, with our most recent acquisition of June of last year, Awingu moves us into a whole nother set of technology around what is commonly known today as workspaces. How do you have ubiquitous access from any browser on any device, anywhere, to your work environments, whether they're published applications, whether they're desktops, whether you're doing file share, and how do you do so in a very secure and robust environment? That is where Awingu comes in. So ultimately, if you look at our heritage and our evolution, we started in the virtualization space with desktop. We moved into Remote Application Server, which is basically a client-server architecture on the Windows Server environment. And now we're moving into a full cloud solution set based on the Awingu and the workspaces concept.
That brings us to segment 2, enabling MSPs for today's workforce. How are MSPs supporting customers who've adopted a mixture of multi-cloud platforms and on-premises infrastructure?
what we're finding is that many of them are struggling, how to do this cohesively across a single set of vendor solutions. With Parallels, however, we're very agnostic in terms of where the computing is taking place. We have partners today, as I mentioned earlier, who have customers on public and private infrastructure. Some of those customers want specific teams served on, for example, Microsoft AVD. It's a better way for a particular group or work group to access their data and their applications or their desktops. But RAS can work in any of those environments. So again, regardless of where the compute needs lie or the users reside and how they need access to the solution set. Again, you could do this on the load balancing right across geographies, or you could have specific work groups that need shift type work, and you want to deploy that on AVD because it's a simpler technology to deploy that particular work streams on. But again, we partner extensively with all the cloud providers, whether it's Microsoft, AWS, and Google, to deploy a solution within each environment. And we have, again, access to those stores to provide our partners with a simple to manage administrative console that operates seamlessly across any of those deployments.
How does Parallels compare with competitive products currently on the market?
Parallels has been a late entrant into this whole client-server virtualization and workspaces environment. And the reason for that is that we've learned and lived vicariously through our competitors. What that means to our partners is that we've listened to the challenges the customers have had. They've faced with complex licensing models, expensive configurations, and legacy solution sets that kind of add on top of each other. They never de-simplify. They only get more and more complex as they evolve. And then the ability to administer, across multiple platforms, coming together through a very simple and eloquent architecture that we've deployed.
Speaking of challenges, the rapid change and complexity of new technology can be a major challenge for MSPs. How do you help them enhance their service offerings?
We've simplified it. We've taken the administrative console from, something that's been very complex and concepts are very difficult to deploy and to manage, to very visual, absolutely wizard-driven if you want it to. But on the back end, you can have as much complexity and granular detail for permissions and access, for the creation of work groups and work streams, to provide, a very robust tool. So you can keep it as high level as you want, or you can go as deep as you want into the tool. Meaning, we're finding is that even though we do provide certification training, oftentimes what we're finding is MSPs are able to deploy and manage our solution set with maybe a more junior technician, which frees them up for their more senior technicians to focus in on other technologies and or customer scenarios that require higher levels of thought.
Security is one of the top concerns for MSPs when providing their customers with IT managed services. How does Parallels RAS and Owingo address this?
One of the advantages of being a late mover into the technology is that we get to learn, again, through others' mistakes. And we have, in terms of how we've developed our security protocols, if you will, or security on the solution set. But also, the product and the technology for RAS is not new. It's been around for years in this space. We're working in conjunction with Microsoft Remote Desktop Services and RDP as a protocol. So the protocols that we're using to secure the data end to end and the security that we've built into the solution set are stayed and very well known, vetted, and very secure.
MSPs adding new services to their portfolio can be a challenge. How do you support MSPs to easily go to market and scale with their services?
Well, we start by ensuring that our technology is a fit for the partner and their customer use cases. I think we do a very good job of holding the partner's hand through the first couple of customer deployments. And well, even before that, with the proof of concepts as we set it up. So we start there. We do that with our sales engineering team here locally, and we provide that level of support as the partners learn how to crawl, walk, and run in the deployment strategy with our solution set. We back that up with technical certification training and access post-implementation 24/7 to our support and DevOps teams.
Segment 3, building your business with better solutions. The IT managed service market is constantly growing, and new players are entering the market at a rapid pace. How do you support MSPs to accelerate growth and successfully acquire new customers?
So we have several programmatics within our channels programs. So from growth and funding levels that MSPs can participate in within those programs, think of MDF. Again, the name for Parallels is net new business. So we can start with where we normally start with an MSP and our partners is with a base of customers, right? They may be transitioning from brand X to looking at Parallels as a viable alternative, or the customers might be coming to them requesting, a virtualized solution, which leads them to us. So we work within the base of customers that they have, but make no mistake about it, we are very much in tune with driving net new customer acquisition, and our channel partner programs and MDF specifically target those types of activities and funding to help drive a mutually net new sales motion between partner and Parallels.
MSPs are facing increasing cost pressures from multiple fronts, including technology, licensing costs, and upskilling technology staff. How do MSPs benefit in these areas by partnering with Parallels?
So for us, again, we keep it simple, learning and living through our competitors. So when you look at our licensing model, it's a single model. There's no super platinum premium licensing program. There's no multi-levels. It's a single license that we deploy to the partner, and the partner can deploy that license in a multitude of different environments individually or cohesively. We enable, for example, a multi-tenancy. So if you have a common environment that you're working under or infrastructure that you need to maximize your costs under, you can create separate instances for each of your customers that are firewalled and segmented away and separately from others. That's just a part of the solution set, right? Simple licensing. It's a pay-as-you-go model. The more you consume, the more you pay. The less you consume, the less you pay. And that's month in, month out. As we look to partners in the service provider space, we wanted to optimize the cost model based on consumption, and we do that. But additionally, when partners really look at the product technologically, how you administer it, how you design, deploy it, support it, and train your customers on it, it's a very simple, eloquently designed set of solutions. So what does that mean is that over the total cost of ownership, when you compare it to other virtualization solutions, it's quite lower. Because again, the amount of investment that you need to design and support it, to deploy it, and to train on it are much lower because of the simplicity of it. Additionally, we give them the benefit of doing things like white labeling the solution. So when it comes to branding and recognition, or that there is a challenge that a customer needs to call, they can call the partner directly. So their face in front of it, we'd love to have them advertising for Parallels, but at the same token, we know that many of them are predicating this service on their brand, and we enable that white labeling for the partner as well.
That is great information. How can we learn more?
So there's a QR code on your screen now. If you follow that QR code, it will take you to a form. Fill out the form. and provide us what your use case is or your business problem you're trying to solve. Give us an hour with one of our engineers, and we'll step you through the process and give you a great overview of the solution, the user interfaces, and more importantly, the administrative interfaces. And within that hour, you'll quickly learn as to whether or not this solution is going to fit or not fit for your business.
Dennis, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you at home for watching. For the Channel Company, I'm Kenna Johnson.